Hi and welcome. I'm Robert Osborne, and this coming April 21st, it would have been the 100th birthday of one of our good friends here at TCM, the late Anthony Quinn. Well, in honor of that centennial, we're going to be saluting Tony Quinn as our star of the month throughout April. And every Wednesday in prime time, we'll have a lineup of movies starring the two-time Oscar-winning actor. And on this very first evening saluting Tony, I'm joined by somebody who may have known him better than anyone. And that's his wife and widow, Catherine Quinn, who is also the founder of the Anthony Quinn Foundation. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you, Robert. Thanks for having me.
Good to be with you.
Thank you. Here, me too.
Now, right now, we're going to bring you 3 of the 4 films for which Tony Quinn won or was nominated for an Academy Award. Up first, it's the film that earned him the first of the 2 Oscars he won in the category of Best Supporting Actor. The movie is Viva Zapata, starring Marlon Brando and Jean Peters, and directed by Elia Kazan. Now, you came into Tony Quinn's life rather late, after he'd made these movies.
1985.
Did he talk about them very much, personally?
A lot.
Yes?
A lot. And the relationship with Marlon and Kazan was a special one for him because, you know, Kazan had this way of working with actors that he used to pit them against each other. So he baited them. So he played a trick on Marlon, and he tried to get them to get as close as possible. And he said, you have to play brothers. I want you two to be as close as possible. So they were traveling down on a train to Brownsville, Texas, where they were filming. And he said, you have to sleep in the same sleeping compartment. And they weren't really warm and fuzzy because, you know, Tony took over for Marlon on stage, a streetcar named Desire. And so they had a friendly competition going. And Marlon showed up with a pet possum and his clothes stuffed in a brown paper bag. And Tony said, I get the top bunk in case that possum decides to play any tricks. And the whole trip down, they didn't talk. And then on the set, Kazan used to make them travel on the set every day, travel by car together, so that they would get closer. But it just wasn't working. Marlon used to show up and he would improvise and pretend he was somebody else besides Marlon or besides the Mexican revolutionary. And Kazan used to tell Tony that Marlon thought he was a terrible actor. So he would create this tension between them. And then by the time they had that scene where they have a fight, they've got so much built-up tension.
And it worked. And
it worked. But he, you know, Kazan didn't. They didn't find out that he played that trick on them until almost 20, 30 years later, when they met in Hawaii at an art exhibit. So it was kind of mean.
Did winning the Oscar mean a lot to Tony?
I think it meant the world to him, but he wasn't there to receive it. He was with Mexico, Gary Cooper in Mexico, and actually it was Gary Cooper won
for High Noon.
For High Noon that year, and his father-in-law Cecil B. DeMille won for The Greatest Show on Earth that same year. So he actually beat his father-in-law to his first Oscar, which that was great for him.
That's a whole story unto itself.
Right, that's another story.
How would you rank Viva Zapata? Yourself.
Oh, I think it's
all of his films.
One of the most incredible performances that he's had. He deserved the Oscar for that. It was a wonderful, powerful performance, very dramatic, very intense. But he did that with all of his roles. And sometimes, you know, he used to say some of his favorite roles didn't end up becoming some of his favorite pictures because they depend so much on the rest, on the director, on the other cast, on the editing. So sometimes he loved his role, but it didn't turn out to be a great part. But that was...
It was a great...
I think that was a great... And it's a great movie. And I think Brando is amazing in it. And they're wonderful counterbalance to each other's acting styles. They're so different, yet it worked so well together, I thought, because he was so vocal and Brando was so subdued in the picture and didn't speak very much.
Well, let's see the movie.
Love to see it.
You set it up very well. Here it is from 20th Century Fox in 1952 with a screenplay by no less than John Steinbeck. Here's Tony Quinn giving an Academy Award-winning performance in Viva Zapata.